Hello mates, my name is Adi. Welcome back to my video series on searching SharePoint document library content in PowerApps. Today is going to be part 2 of this series. We are going to build a Microsoft flow. The reason for building a flow is there is, as of now, there is no built-in functionality within PowerApp to search SharePoint content. Let's get started. Let's have a quick cap on what we did in part 1 and the site we are working. The site we are working is the one currently you see here, the SharePoint site, which has 39 documents, and the PowerApps we built was SP search part 1, and when we run this app, suppose if I don't put anything, it's returning 39. That matches with our count, SP count. Suppose when I search for something, say take for example SA, and it returns just only 1. If we look at SharePoint, SA, there is only 1. So our app is just doing a metadata search on name column. We can extend this to search other columns, but our app is right now limited to only the metadata. It's not searching the content like sa.pdf. It's not searching the content. So we are going to scope our app to do the content search as well. So today we will be fully focusing on building the flow and testing it within flow. Let's get started. To build a flow within the PowerApps environment, on the left hand side you have the flow tab. Okay, so technically the flow is going to receive a text, that is our this one text parameter, and we intend the flow to search the SharePoint content and return the document ID, so that the document ID will be using in our PowerApp to show the matching documents. That is our goal. So let us start with a new flow, and I'm going to start as a instant cloud flow. Let's give it a name, a suitable name, and let's call it as SP content search. And we are going to call this in PowerApps. So I am choosing this trigger. So now let's click on create. So in this flow, the first thing is we should receive the parameter that is being passed from PowerApps. To do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to initialize a variable for that type variable. Here is our initialize variable. So the name of the variable, let us call this as a search text, and we expect this to be of string. And before doing anything, let me rename this. Okay, and the value of this is going to be asked in PowerApps. So at this stage, let us save and test. I am doing manual test. See, let's go and catch something. So let's search for SA. So flow has run, everything we are good. So if we expand this, so the value we got correctly now, search text. Now to search SharePoint, what we are going to do is we are going to use this SharePoint search REST API for search. So to do that, let me go in the edit mode. Let's add a step. So in this, I'm going to make a HTTP GET request. HTTP request to SharePoint. So this is the action, and the method is GET. That is fine. And the site we are going to use is, as we know, this is our test site. Okay, and the method is GET, and the URI, to save time, I have composed the URI already. Then we will get into the URI in detail. I will walk it through. Okay, this is my URI. Here, this is the standard REST URI, API search query text, and query text we are supplying with the search text that is being passed from PowerApp. And I'm scoping the search just to the list we are interested. I'm putting a list ID, and list ID I will show you from where I got this list ID. So this is my document library. To get the list ID, what I can do is I go to library settings. Here you see at the top we have, this is the list ID. So there is some encoding in the URL. The list ID is up to this much. The %7d suffix and %7b, these are the string embedding within the URI. So this is the actual ID. So this is what we are using in our this thing. If you can see, that is the one. Then my interest is to get certain select properties I'm passing on, the ListItemID title and path, and I'm limiting the rows to just 500, this being a test environment, and content type I'm just leaving it as it is, the ContentSearchRegular, regular, and you can look more into the search API document in SharePoint documentation. Next, I'm going to set the header. Header, in our case, what we need to do is we need to set the what it should accept. So I'm going to set the accept parameter, and this is going to be just application JSON and odata, no metadata. We don't want metadata, just we want search results. Otherwise, SharePoint returns number of other information which are least important in our case. So up to this, this step is done. Let us quickly run and see, make sure the flow is not failing. So continue, we are going to say SA, run, flow ran successfully. That's good news. So if you look at, So this is what our return value. Actually, this is a complex object. So we are going to skim through this. If you are interested, you can copy this and go to something called Json Formatter. If you go to this URL, go to this second, then just I'm pasting that what we got here. So here you can read better than the right side. You can read better than this. Here if we, so the idea is so our data is buried in the cells area, in the rows and cells area. Then you will see title. See, this has sketched essay we typed, and then our interest is title. I'm going to return the path, these three. These are the three items I am interested. So the cells, as you can see, this is an array. In JSON, array starts with 0 index. So the index 0 is rank, 1 is doc ID, 3 is our list item ID, 4 title, 5 path. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, 4 is our path. So this is what we are going to return back to PowerApps. So it's somewhat tricky to read these values, but we will go through in detail the steps involved. So I'm coming back. Let's go to edit option again. So here I'm going to do, first thing is to format this output from the HTTP request. So there is a process called Parse JSON. So I'm going to use this one, and the content is just nothing but output from the body output from the SharePoint. So I put that, and the schema is something only the items we are interested in a retrievable fashion. So I have built already the schema to save time on this video. So I'm just going to paste that schema. If need exists, you can ping me. I can share this schema if anyone needs. So that's it in this step. So maybe we can have another run to make sure things are in good shape. Okay, that is cool. We got so input is content, what we got from the HTTP request. Then this is our schema. If we go down, this is our body from here. So you will see this is somewhat better than earlier. You see, you get similar to what we saw in the browser. I was showing the JSON formatter. So we get things like that. So I'm going to refine this some more better. So I'm going to basically select the attributes we are interested, document attributes that we are interested. To do that, there is a select operation. That is our next step. Just type select So it's a data operation basically. Select from where. So obviously select is the body of the JSON. No, we don't need the body because body encompasses lots of things that we don't need. Probably our interest is we can start from rows. Yes, that's our candidate. From rows we need to get three things: the ID. So document ID is going to be our, so I'm going to write a expression to get this. So switch to expression. I'm just copying the text that I have experimented already. This, as you can see from here, so ID corresponds to 0, 1, 2. List item ID is our ID column. I'm going to call that as ID column. So this is our 2, title 3 and path 4. So let's come back to this. So this is my 2. Then I'm going to retrieve the title. Sorry. And this is going to be our 4, I believe. 2, title 3 is fine, I think. Yes. Then our last candidate is we are going to return the path. That may be useful, I'm not sure at this time, but so this is going to be 2, 3, 4, I think. Okay, let us check whether we got everything right so far. Okay. Cool, we got this run successfully, and the input is going as the rows, and the output is cool. You see, we are getting this ID, title, path. In our case, it has just found only one element, so that's fine. We will expand. We will enter some other search text. There we may get more. Cool. Now we retrieved the search parameter PowerApp from PowerApp, sent an HTTP request to SharePoint, passed the JSON, and selected the attributes that we are interested. Then finally we need to return our selection to PowerApps. That is going to be another step. So let's start with a new step. This is going to, I am going to send a response object. So response, this is the thing I'm going to use. So here the body is going to be what? That is output from our select. So as of now, our select is not a proper array object. Maybe it is a text. To process that more easily, I'm going to add a schema so that is easy for us to process the return result in PowerApp. So for that I got another schema prebuilt. This also I can share if someone pings me if need this schema, I can do that. So the schema of this is this. I pasted. So this step is over now. So let us save and give it a run now. So I'm going to put a save. cool. The flow ran successfully this far. That is a good thing. So if we look at so our output returns these three attributes in a array form. Let us try something that can return more. If we go back to our document, so let us search for something magic.pdf. So prints is there, this word prints is there. Let us go and search for prints in our existing app. Let us see if we get anything. So we found nothing. Let's come back to our PowerApp and let's try that one. Prints. Let's look at. Cool. You see, prints, there are two occasions. One is in dictionary, other is in example. So we got, so now you can sense we are better armed with the search. So when we return these IDs to the PowerApp, we can filter and show this. Look at the fantasy of this app we built today. And you could see that we have built this up successfully today, and we will cover using this return value, calling this flow and using the return value and applying to our search app. I will cover that in our part 3 of this video series. Hope you enjoyed and this video is somewhat useful to you. Thanks. I'll see you in the next video.